What's up?
Stephanie. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. How are you? What's going on? Table for Four, Family Conversation Podcast. Welcome to the live session.
Number two.
Number two. So on the live sessions, we are talking about different topics, different stories in the headlines for the week and anything else in between. So I want you guys to have a little journey with us. We're going to do a little vocabulary with you today. So the first word of the day. You didn't even say your name. You didn't even introduce yourself.
I'm Andre, by the way.
The first word on the journey with us today, we're going to have a little vocabulary lesson with us. It's called skimpflation. So what is skimpflation? So in our definition, we're trying to see the new term skimpflation is where brands are reformulating their products with cheaper ingredients to reduce manufacturing costs while they're keeping the price the same. So in other words, I'm going to use cheaper products. I'm not going to use the same type of product, but yet I'm going to charge you with the same thing, even though I'm reducing my costs to make the product for you. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's any way for, like, let's say, for example, like there's been reports from, what are you doing?
You got the cookie.
You should have got the cookie.
I'm sorry.
So, for example, something small, like something that used to have real almonds in it now has almond flavoring, but we're still going to charge you for having the real almonds, regardless if they're organic.
So the packaging is going to say made with real almonds.
Or it's going to say was made with real almonds. So that's just like an example of skimpflation. So I don't know if you can pull up the little clip that we have from CNBC that was talking about how skimpflation is one of those things.
All right, here we go.
There may be a surprise waiting for you at the grocery store. Some companies are substituting ingredients in their products, often with cheaper ones. It's called skimpflation, and it's stopping shoppers in their tracks.
Yeah, it seems unfair.
It's so hard to stay up to date on exactly what's going into your food.
An anonymous survey of 300 large food and beverage brands showed that nearly 2/3 of them reformulated at least 6 recipes.
Yeah, that's
90%
crazy.
of
That's
them
a lot.
That's a lot. Look, 90%.
Often water can be added, and we also see basically a shifting to
So they're trying to put water in it.
From sugar to high fructose corn syrup.
Take a look at these 2 packages of Smart Balanced margarine. Look at the front.
Margarine.
Identical.
Look at that. Look at even the lettering got even smaller.
In very fine print.
In the bottom left corner, this one says it's 64% vegetable oil. This one says it's 39%
even on the butter,
oil.
And it's leaving customers with a poor taste in their mouths. Some writing, how to destroy a great product. New formula is not an improvement and just simply gross.
Yo,
TV dinner
that's
favorites,
crazy.
Hungry Man's double chicken bowls, also getting a redo.
The old package said 39 grams of protein. The new package says 33 grams of protein.
I used
That's
to mess with the Hungry Man
15% reduction.
But spotting the changes can be challenging.
Is there less chicken in it? Is there less cheese in it?
Hungry Man's parent company, Conagra, has not responded to NBC's request for comment.
They're not going to say
Some
nothing
companies
either.
are doing away with ingredients altogether. In 2018, Whole Foods Organic Honey and Nut Morning O's contained real organic almonds. Now, they've completely eliminated them from the cereal product. Whole Foods telling NBC News they reformulate their products for a number of reasons, from new suppliers to availability,
reducing
to
manufacturing
taste
costs.
or texture.
The cost to my
Less than 10% of people actually read ingredient labels, but experts say it's time to take things into your own hands.
So, as you can see, this is one of the things that it's not cool. But this is just how the reality is when thinking about how your grocery list is looking like. So let's take another journey and looking at a different word. What was it?
Greedflation.
Greedflation. So greedflation is price gouging by corporations during the time of an inflation period. This is especially when it comes in terms of like underlying cost of production that hasn't even risen yet. So I'm trying to see what's the good example for that. So let's say we're in inflation right now, right? We're talking about everything's going up in price. Nobody can afford anything. It's a little bit of a reminder of what's happening in 2008, right? So when you're thinking about greedflation, I'm talking about everything takes into account. Everything taken into account. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about your rent. We're talking about consumer products, sneakers, appliances. We're talking about everything. So everything about price gouging. So you have these local supermarkets, because I'm gonna call them local for now. Your corner bodega, okay, and your corner stores, the ones that are really close by.
The Lopez family.
Whatever you want to call it. So
the Lopez family.
They are now taking advantage. They're taking advantage of pricers and consumers. They're price gouging because they know they're not going to go somewhere else because it might be more expensive or
it's too far.
Or it's too far, or they don't have the capacity to order online, or if there's however many reasons there are, they're taking advantage of that because now something that might have cost, let's say, butter or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. You go to the supermarket, it's probably $3.99, $4.99. In the bodega, they're almost charging you $6.99, $7.99 just for the same product that they're charging you for that price. Mm-hmm. So now a lot of these local stores are now losing businesses because now the consumers are catching on. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna pay this much for the same thing. I know that I might have to go a little bit further, whatever the case would be. But now this price gouging, it's not fair to the consumers because they don't even let you know. Like if there was a sign that say, prices, rising due to, I don't know, lack of production, whatever the case may be, they have to give you some sort of warning label. Mm-hmm. But 1 week it's like $4.99, the next week is $6.99. I'm like, wait a minute. Yep. How did that even happen? You know what I'm saying? So there's like an article that we have about Greedflation that, some of these people, like, it really comes down to who is in charge of the actual products. Like for this sample in CNBC, they were talking about a big, large consumer group called Tesco. Now, Tesco, that is a bigger company that you're talking about, maybe Costco, or you're talking about Whole Foods or things like that.
They're like the primary manufacturer for a lot of these products. Like DuPont.
Right. So what's happening is they are now taking the price gouging to more seriously only because there's more people that have been noticing it and it's been a hurting in their pocket. So now they're having these different consumer groups that are now coming and talking about, well, what is it exactly that I need to get done in order for me to understand how inflation is working? Right. So food suppliers are raising their prices. And then along with over here, you're going to see in this article, it talks about they have a whole team that's looking at the composition of food, costs, and commodities. And they're trying to work out to see whether those cost increases are legitimate or not. So the bigger companies have a responsibility to make sure they say, hey, I understand that cost is rising up, but we can't be price gouging to this extent and now nobody's going to buy our product. Right. You know what I mean? So thinking about how skimpflation and then greedflation, now we're going to talk about the next lovely word in our vocabulary in our journey today is
Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
Shrinkage, baby.
Shrinkage. So definition of shrinkage now, I mean, not in terms of whatever it is that you're thinking about, but shrinkage is the practice of reducing the size of the product while still maintaining its original sticker price. So again, it was like the example on the video clip with the butter. Yeah. Right. So it says that uses no. That's skimp because they're
the shrinkation. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay. Doritos does it. You know, they shrink the bag and give you less. Actually, they give you the same size, but they're shrinking the
air in the bag than anything else. There's more air in the bag.
Yep.
So
for $2.29 a bag.
So it's crazy. So another interesting article that tells you about this in Investopedia, which is a brother company within the travel agency. The other one, Expedia, excuse me. So they were even talking about what is the reason for it and how to spot it. Because what's happening is they be undercover with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like, not everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but the people that are in the higher ups, they're raising these prices in a way that's strategic, but it's like still people are noticing. It's like, what can you do in terms of still saving manufacturer costs without passing on to the buck to the consumer? So some of the key terms they're talking about is the reduction of the size of the product in response to rising production costs and market competition. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is they're trying to increase the price of the product while still offering a smaller packaging. So I'm like,
you know when I noticed it the first time was in Panera Bread.
Oh, 110%.
I'm like, what happened to the pastry dish,
bro?
My cherry pastries. They used to be these little huge ass pastry dishes, cherry pastries.
Yeah.
And now when you go there, they're like half the size for the same price.
Yeah. The bear claws.
Same, the bear claws, the cookies, everything is all downsized.
Everything. And let me tell you, I got so mad. We went for breakfast like the week before. I wanted to get a bacon egg souffle, right? Bacon egg souffle, right here.
$8.
We used to pay $3.99.
You used to pay $3.99 for it?
We used to pay $3.99 for it. It is now $7.49. Same size, nothing different. I was furious.
I'll take a sandwich. Sandwich is still like $5.99. I was so furious
that I ended up not buying it. I ended up not buying you. I was like, no, I'm not buying.
No, you got a bagel. $2. A cinnamon crunch bagel.
And I wasn't happy with the bagel.
I was. It was good.
So, learning vocabulary as we go along. What are your thoughts on these 3 vocabulary words? Because what happens is our pockets are hurting. Everybody's pockets are hurting. So we want to know, how are you saving? What are the things that you've been doing to save? For us, we've been literally not going to these supermarkets. We've been going to Aldi and Lidl
and Walmart.
That's it. Because going to Stop and Shop has been a hurting. Can't do it. Going to the corner stores is not worth it. It doesn't matter how convenient it is. It's down the block. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I'm not going to be paying double the price for the same product. It's not feasible. It's not feasible anymore. And what happens is you're trying to save along with not eating out as much, but trying to cook more at home. But then you end up spending the same amount. I said, well, in less dishes. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean up, do any of that. Mm-hmm. And it's the same price of me going out to eat. And I'll just go get something and just keep it moving. But it's not feasible either. You can't eat. I mean, if you can afford to eat out every day, good for you.
That's what I did. Like the other day, I didn't want to spend a lot of money and ended up going to Whole Foods to get pizza. I wanted the hibachi, but the hibachi guy wasn't in there. In the Whole Foods in Hudson Yards. And so I ended up looking for deals. You know, I wasn't gonna spend $15 or anything. So I was like, all right, what can I spend, or what's cheap and that's gonna fill me up. So they have the pizza section. It was 2 slices for $7.50. I thought that was a bargain.
2 slices for $7.50.
And then I got a couple of cookies. You know, and my drink came up to like $12.50, almost $13. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
It's again. We're trying to find ways to be more cost effective when it comes to spending money and not trying to eat out all the time. But once in a while, it's okay. If you can do it, do it. If you could cook at home, do it more often or whatever. But those are kind of the things that we're trying to do in terms of like cost effective and just a hurting in my pocket.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about next? We're talking about the rising prices of Arizona iced tea. Now, let me hold up. Hold up. For as long as I can remember, it was $1.
99 cents. Less than $1. Less than $1.
You know things are bad if Arizona has to raise its prices.
I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, you know things gotta be bad if Arizona has to raise their prices. It has to. Something's up. It's been for decades. For as long as I've been small and things like that, I have always remember it paying $1. Do you have that article that came up? I was like, what happened? The question is, did you know?
Here we go.
The question is, did you know that Arizona iced tea increased in price?
Increased for $1.
So the most now we're up to
but at the beginning it was a controversy. It says, see, this is a claim that the cost of Arizona iced tea increased from 99 cents to $1.29 in the U.S. It's false, but this is circulating in June.
Right, that was back then in June.
Right.
So
here we are now. Like it says misleading, but meanwhile it's $1.25.
Yep. No, it's $1.29. Yo, but 7-Eleven.
No, it's $1.25, not 29.
Yeah,
it's 125.
It's 125.
Yeah, 125.
You know 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven charges $1.39.
139.
139. Yes, they do. I checked it out the other day. I said, hold up.
So they're charging you for the deposit?
No, but what I'm saying is that it's $1.29. I told you.
Nah, but if I go to the corner store, it says $1.25 on the bottle.
No, it does not say.
Yes, it does.
It does not say $1.25. They probably put an orange sticker on it.
No, it says $1.25.
No, it does not. It can't be. It's $1.29.
Okay.
It's $1.29.
Listen, I'm not mad because when I go to El Salvador, I think it's like $4 the Arizona can. It has a $4 sticker over the 99 cents sign. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
I'm good.
I wait till I get back home, pay $1.
Nah, I'm good. But here's the thing. Now you have these great products that are now having to raise. They have to raise the prices just to kind of compensate for everything that's been going on.
But you can't get mad at Arizona.
No,
they've been 99 cents forever.
Forever.
You know,
I ain't mad at Arizona.
I invest in Arizona. I'm also a client. I use the product.
Are you a satisfied
I'm a satisfied customer.
All right, so then
that white tea blueberry crack.
Yeah, that's like one of the best flavors.
And green tea.
Well, I don't like green tea. I like raspberry or peach. That's one of my favorites. But now that Arizona tea has gone up, what is the deal with these freaking eggs? Why are eggs so freaking expensive? I know there's been a couple of memes out there that you see people.
Buy her something expensive for Valentine's Day, and it's like
a whole egg carton. It's like an egg carton. Just like somebody else sent a meme, I think from our group, said that they sent a picture of like a boy and a girl that was in the supermarket, and my man was filling the whole cart with eggs. Yeah, and her face was just turning red and like, oh, he got money because he's buying eggs. But why the price of these eggs? A funny story this morning. So we're home. We just dropped off the kids. We're getting ready for the day. And we're getting breakfast ready. And we're trying to decide what to have. So we have like some pretzel rolls. We have egg McMuffins, like English muffins, stuff like that, wraps and whatnot. So I said, do you want an egg McMuffin or do you want to do something like that? Simple, nothing crazy. He goes, no, I want egg whites, feta, spinach.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you. So, even before this old egg inflation, egg prices, I am one to always say, I feel like you're wasting the egg when you're only cooking the egg white. It gets me so annoyed. Even before all this price egg. Every time I see him crack, as soon as he cracked the egg on the oven, on the stovetop, I was like, you're gonna waste the egg. He's like, no, I'm not. I want egg whites. I was like, you're wasting the egg. And I gave him a face. And he was laughing at me. Why are you laughing at me?
Because I'm cracking it and she's like,
I'm shaking my head.
I hate you.
I was like, why?
I'm like, eggs are eggs.
Such a
I don't
waste.
want carton egg whites. I don't want carton egg whites. I want to crack them. No,
the
it's not.
carton egg whites
They're
are
watered
not
down.
that
Nope.
bad.
They're watered
No,
down.
they're
I don't
not.
know what they're giving me.
No, they're not that bad.
At least I know where the egg. I know what I'm getting.
I brought them from Lidl the last time, and
Okay. We go back to the article. Are you reading the ingredients? Are you reading the ingredients?
To that
I don't want to watery eggs. No.
And then you compensate with a little bit of the egg white carton, and you fluff the egg, and you get a good meaty meal.
Crack. She saw me the egg yolk in the trash. In the trash. 2 egg yolks in the trash.
And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know how expensive these freaking eggs are? I'm like,
2 egg yolks in the trash.
Oh, I was so mad.
I
was so annoyed. But that was even before this whole price increase on eggs. So really why the prices is going up is because there's something that's going on with the chickens. So not that I'm laughing about the chickens, I'm still mad about those eggs that he threw, the egg yolks that he threw out.
Yeah, remember they were up 60% in December.
Right.
And then it continued. Now it's up an additional 11% in January. So that's almost 81% increase.
So according to the U.S. Department Bureau of Labor Statistics, it says that the average price of a dozen large grade A eggs in December was $4.25. That it jumped from $1.79. So just thinking about that. It used to be $1.80, right? Now I'm almost paying almost $5. $5 for eggs. I went to Walmart for 18 eggs. 18 eggs. ¿Cuánto fueron?
I think it was 18 eggs. I think it was almost $14.
It was no.
We took it for both of them.
Right.
We bought 2 pack of 18.
So there was 16. So it's $8.75.
Yeah.
For a pack of 18. I've never paid so much for eggs. And let me tell you, when we go camping, we buy eggs because it's like 3 or 4 days feeding people, doing breakfast 2 or 3 times for breakfast.
So we buy 3 pack of
we buy
5 dozens.
5 dozens, and we get them at
15.
BJ's,
So we get 15 dozen eggs.
BJ's or we get them at Costco. And we've never.
BJ's is through the roof for eggs. They're crazy.
Never paid.
Costco has the best price for eggs.
Hands down. Never paid that much for eggs. So to think about it, it's like one of the real reasons behind it is that there's been an increase in demand, obviously, but there's also been another higher cost for production for the farmers. And there's been a certain outbreak of bird flu. So now this highly contagious virus now has been fatal to all the poultry and to all the chickens and turkeys, and now it's killing them. So now if they're dying off, they cannot compensate because of the bird flu, and now they're literally dying, so they can't produce more eggs. So literally, this is one of the reasons why the eggs are so freaking expensive, But thinking about how else can we curb the cost, like I did before, I used to crack 1 egg, and then I had the liquid whites coming in, mix it up, boom, 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 make a nice meal out of that. But my man, he don't believe in the cartons and egg whites. The egg whites and the carton, I would prefer it as opposed to cracking fresh eggs and throwing out the yolk. You can say what you want about me. But I would prefer not to crack the egg and waste the egg.
That yolk in the trash.
You can make macaroons. There's so many things you could do with the egg yolk.
I could have said you could have made some batter. Some.
Right, but you threw it out. You put a smirk on your face on your way to the trash to throw the eggshell and the yolk along with it. I don't understand why I was so upset. I was so upset. I was so annoyed. But this is the reality. This is the reality that when things cost this much, you don't want to really think about anything else at this rate. Excuse me. But with everything that's going up in cost, the question that popped in my head immediately was, what happened back in 2008? Now, when we were in 2008, how long ago was that? Let's break up.
14 years ago?
Bust out the
So,
calendar.
it was 15 years ago now. Could be 28,
Yeah,
2023 now.
2023, right?
Yep.
So about 15 years ago, we're very familiar with the 2008 financial crisis. And we're going to post up a bunch of links and articles for you to read and review that. But just take a look at this, for 30 seconds or a minute and see how is it that are we on the same
path? I think we are.
With this financial crisis, with this inflation and everything else that's going on. But this is a great little breakdown from Crash Course, and you can find them on YouTube. And I'm going to have the link for you guys, but just take a look at that and see and take your own opinion on that.
With Jacob Clifford.
And I'm Adrienne Hill. And today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to explore one moment in history in depth. We're going to talk about how the 2008 financial crisis happened and the government response to it in the United States.
So let's get started. The 2008 financial crisis was a big deal. Ben Bernanke said it could have resulted in a 1930-style global financial and economic meltdown with catastrophic implications. But what happened? Why did it happen? And why aren't we all huddled around burning trash cans, forming a raiding party to go steal gas from other tribes in the wasteland? By the way, if you're actually doing that, you probably didn't hear we survived the financial crisis. Things got better. Seriously, put down your crossbows.
To explain what happened, first we have to do a quick explainer about mortgages. And you might already know this, but basically someone that wants to buy a house will often borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars from a bank. In return, the bank gets a piece of paper called a mortgage. Every month, the homeowner has to pay back a portion of the principal, plus interest to whomever holds the piece of paper. If they stop paying, that's called a default, and whomever holds that piece of paper gets the house. The reason I'm saying whomever holds the paper rather than the bank is because the bank, the original lender, often sells that mortgage to some third party. And the reason I say often is because this happens all the time. I've had my house for 9 months and 3 different banks have had the mortgage. Traditionally, it was pretty hard to get a mortgage if you had bad credit or didn't have a steady job. Lenders just didn't want to take the risk that you might default on your loan. But all that started to change in the 2000s. And before we go further, a quick aside here. The story gets complicated fast, and it's a fascinating story, but we're trying to keep it relatively simple. So I've asked Stan if we could put some additional resources in the YouTube description. And Stan said yes.
Yes,
Thanks, Stan.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
back to our story. In the 2000s, investors in the US and abroad looking for a low-risk, high-return investment started throwing their money at the U.S. housing market. The thinking was they could get a better return from the interest rates homeowners paid on mortgages than they could by investing in things like U.S. Treasury bonds, which were paying very, very low interest. But big money global investors didn't want to just buy up my mortgage and Stan's mortgage. It's too much hassle to deal with us as individuals. I mean, we're pains. Instead, they bought investments called mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities are created when large financial institutions securitize mortgages. Basically, they buy up thousands of individual mortgages, bundle them together, and sell shares of that pool to investors. Investors gobbled these mortgage-backed securities up. Again, they paid a higher rate of return than investors could get in other places, and they looked like really safe bets. For one, home prices were going up and up, so lenders thought, worst case scenario, the borrower defaults on the mortgage, we can just sell the house for more money. At the same time, credit ratings agencies were telling investors these mortgage-backed securities were safe investments. They gave a lot of these mortgage-backed securities AAA ratings, the best of the best. And back when mortgages were only for borrowers with good credit, mortgage debt was a good investment. Anyway, investors were desperate to buy more and more and more of these securities. So lenders did their best to help create more of them. But to create more of them, they needed more mortgages. So lenders loosened their standards and made loans to people with low income and poor credit. You'll hear these called subprime mortgages. Eventually, some institutions even started using what are called predatory lending practices to generate mortgages. They made loans without verifying income and offered absurd adjustable rate mortgages with payments people could afford at first, but quickly ballooned beyond their means. But these new subprime lending practices were brand new. That meant credit rating agencies could still point to historical data that indicate.
So now you're seeing what's going on right now, right? So we're talking about predatory, right? Loans, right? So now we're talking about skimpflation, shrinkflation, greedflation. All these bigger companies now, right? They're trying to cut costs, right? To make sure that they give you the same product, right? They're going to charge you more. Mm-hmm. They're going to charge you more and give you the same thing. Same thing with the housing market. They have these terrible homes or whatever. I mean, down to the dust, whatever. That needs a lot of major renovations, whatever the case may be. But they are willing to give it to you, right?
For top dollar.
For top dollar.
Top dollar.
Top dollar. And charge your mortgage top dollar with an interest rate top dollar. All of this.
Worst case scenario, they could be like, oh, don't worry, he's going to go down in a year or so, and then you could refinance.
See, that's my word.
Listen, right now, what, 7%? It's probably going to increase, I would say probably to 9-10% before nobody buys anything. Because right now, it's really expensive to even buy a house. It's expensive to buy a car. It's expensive to go get an apartment.
Oh, my God. My good friend Maya, she was telling me she wanted to go get a car. A used car, not new. 14%. 14%. Okay. And she has amazing credit. 14. Okay. So for regular schmegular people that do not have good credit or don't have great credit, they don't even look in your direction. And if you don't have a certain amount of income, they're not even looking in your direction. So people are being left out. They're being excluded because why? We can't keep up with the cost. And then people that are making good money are paying top dollar just to keep maintained.
That's crazy.
And you can't even save. And if you were smart or if you've done something before prior to everything going on, good for you. But there's paycheck to paycheck. And it's extremely, extremely hard. Extremely hard. And it doesn't matter. Money. I say it. It don't matter. Everybody's in the same group. Everybody's in the same group.
Because it's not just trickling down to agriculture. It's also insurance policies. Because our car insurance went up. It keeps going up every 6 months. And I'm like, wow.
Yep.
From the last 6 month policy to this one, it exponentially increased. It went up a lot.
I went up almost like 3.
And I'm like, even if I go to another carrier right now, it's looking around the same price range. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So our best solution would probably just move to another state. Move out of New York because New York is getting too expensive.
So it's just when weighing in your options, like being a parent, trying to maintain your household, trying to keep up with your bills, trying to keep up cooking for the house, making sure you have enough gas for the week and things like that. Like it gets a lot. It weighs on you. But we've been trying our best to do what we can to survive week by week. Yeah. And it's only been a struggle for there. But guys, I want you to tell us what you think. What are your thoughts? Do you think that we're really going down this route to 2008? I really
to another financial crisis. I think so.
I
best believe it. But one thing I could say I know is I am financially secure because my job is still there, regardless of the recession.
No, you can't be financially secure. You can have
stability.
No. You have
job stability.
You have job stability. But just the stupidity. It's all clumped in
job stability.
Right. People can have good job stability, but if you're still getting paid the same thing and everything else around you is going up in price, how can you have financial stability? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're big in investments or if you come from a wealthy family, however the case may be, you can still have job stability, but finance stability is always fluctuating in terms of the market.
Yep.
But talking about things going down.
Our next article, it's the doomsday clock moves up 90 seconds closer to midnight.
Now, I want to know what this means, though. What is this article from?
This is from the bulletin of the academic scientists. So they determined that this year they moved up the doomsday clock, which is it is right here. I'll tell you right now. It's What is the doomsday clock? The doomsday clock is a design that warns the public about how close we are to destroying our world with dangerous technologies of our own making. It is a metaphor, a reminder of the perils we must address if we are to survive on this planet.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So we are moving closer to our own demise.
Okay, so wait a minute. What was the time on it on 2020?
2020?
It said it was 100 seconds to midnight.
Yeah. So now, so 3 years later, that was 90 seconds to midnight.
Okay, so hold on. My question is, why is midnight the time of destruction?
Because that's when everything resets.
Oh my God.
That's the metaphor.
That's the metaphor.
Yep.
So, but what is the main reasoning for that?
Because of the war in Ukraine.
Wow.
It's up here. Where is it? This year, the Science and Security Board, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, moved the hand of doomsday forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers of the war in Ukraine. The clock now stands 90 seconds to midnight, the closest to global catastrophe if it has ever happened.
Lord,
I'm telling you, we're gonna be our own demise.
Oh my God.
We're gonna be like Terminator. We're gonna be like everybody's scrapping for metal.
Not for nothing.
And shading it in and
not for nothing. Those egg whites, they don't look to be a problem right now.
No.
That's the least of my worries right now.
Who knows? Because this war in Ukraine could lead to other. I hate to say it, but another world war. No, but who knows?
So many things to put in perspective, and just trying to figure out how to just live, just how to live. But guys, I want you guys to continue reading those articles. We're going to be posting them up. Definitely, we're going to be having our live sessions every Wednesday. The time fluctuates only because our work schedules, kids, stuff like that. But we're always going to try to do our sessions on Wednesdays with you guys and talk with you about anything and everything on topics, highlighting it for the week and everything else in between. So again, don't forget to follow, like, and share on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on YouTube.
And we are on 16 podcast platforms right now.
Isn't that amazing?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Do you know them off the top of your head?
Probably like 10. But we're like in all the major platforms.
So name the top 5.
Spotify, Audible, Apple, Google Podcast,
Breaker Radio,
Stitcher. We're in TuneIn. We're in iHeartRadio, Cast FM, Castbox, Good Pods.
There's so many.
Something public, a Breaker Radio.
No, I already said Radio Public.
Yep. We're in a lot of different platforms.
We're on a lot of different platforms. So if you guys go ahead and continue and following those platforms, we're going to be doing some videos. We're going to be posting them on YouTube. Also, don't forget, watch School Commute Combos. We're talking about all different things. Today we spoke about your child's natural talent. So I'm going to be posting up those on Instagram and as well as YouTube.
Also, I have a new channel coming out.
Ooh!
And I would say we're gonna record our first episode next week, and it will be released the week after. It's the Tech Aficionados podcast.
Yay!
Talking about gadgets, electronics, tech stuff, video games, TVs, everything. So our first episode is gonna be talking about TVs, gaming monitors, and calibration, and what is calibration, and why do we need it, and why do we don't need it, and who's it for?
Absolutely. That's super exciting. That's one of the projects we've been working on. So super excited for that. And Table for 4 podcast is coming back. We're going to start with new episodes coming out in March. So we're going to be talking about all things in between, everything with the family conversation. Guys, continue following, like, share, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Follow those videos on School Commute Combos when we talk about all those things in between. And don't forget, keep an eye out for the Tech Aficionados.
I'm working hard on that.
Trying
to get you guys good information, good episode.
Get the good stuff and get you going. Do you have anything else? I'm trying to think. What else is going on?
Just work. Working and just always be busy. We keep busy.
Keep busy. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Stephanie.
This is Andre.
Table for 4 live session.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all. Bye.